my friends, if this is your first time here, then welcome. This spread for this particular reading has been developed over years to really find a combination that really works. And also, just to let you know, this is not that your ex is coming back and just like I'm throwing this on you. No, this is for the people who actually are still having a connection, or maybe they're anticipating kind of like that something still is ongoing. They still want something to happen with their ex, such as like maybe hoping for a reunion. If you're not wanting your ex, then please, this is not a reading for you. Check my monthlies instead. So in a moment, I'm going to explain the cards, but at the same time, I'm going to provide a timestamp for those people who already know it. If you're the first time here, please go to the explanation. But before I start this, yay, there's like something that you waited for entire year, my 2019 annual Taroscopes. It's time to pre-order. So you can go www.cattarot.ca/annual, and that's going to get you to the form. The moment when I make the first one, this price of $19.99 for individual sign or $39.99 for all signs is going to move to $29.99 for one and $59.99 for all. So this is like your opportunity to really grab a good deal. If you remember the last year, then they were like about hour and a half to 2 hours long. It was covering all kind of like segments and career and love and family and so on and so forth. In the description of this video, you are going to be able to see the 2018. So just like scroll down below and check it. Okay, so the next is to kind of like jump into this explanation, and for my regulars, here is a timestamp, and just jump right straight to the reading. Okay guys, as you're going to see, I don't know if you can see the difference in colors. Look at how old is this deck, about 25 years old. And the same cards exist in this deck as well. So I am choosing these 7 cards because they're going to be able to give me that combination, that magic key, and the answer that you really want. So let's start. Like, first card that I have taken over here is the Magician. And the Magician is really going to tell me about what is going on for your relationship. If this is really a go, if your relationship can actually fly. It's also going to tell me if your relationship was ever a starter. So both positive and negative is going to give us some answers. The next one is going to be the Temperance reversed. And usually the Temperance upright talks about stars are aligning and everything is like kind of like working together. When it is reversed, it tells me what is really not gluing and what kind of like things you still really need to pay attention and even work on in a relationship. So it's kind of like a really important combination of the two. Then we are going to have the Queen of Wands and also Knight of Wands. With these two cards, they are going to be significators for you and your mate, right? So they are interchangeable. You have to kind of like decide which one are you, and you're going to know it as when I start reading which one applies. This is the energy in between the two of you, and it's going to tell me if there is any communication and what's going on. Is there any manipulation? Is there any approach? And so on and so forth. Kind of like really important as well. Then we have Karma card. Many people disregard, karma, who cares? Well, let me ask you this. If you're now looking back in the past and you think about your relationships, isn't this like, a point that you think, I should have skipped this one? You see, this is really what is telling you about it. Maybe you really go, I want it. But karma is telling you, maybe, sweetie, you shouldn't be going in that direction. So that category is very important, because if you're not in sync with karma, everything will be breaking and things will not be coming your way, right? And then lastly, we have Four of Wands, and Four of Wands is kind of like going to tell me where is like this whole relationship going on and what can you do. So let's start with the reading itself. Hi Leo, and welcome to your end of October and November. Is your ex coming back? Can you see this like beautiful sunshine coming through? It was all overcast in Toronto, and now it's all nice and shine and bright. And guess which basically planet you're like associated with? Yeah, the sun. So let's see what's happening, guys. So talking about the sun, make sure you check your sun sign. If this is the case, then this is it, but make sure also you check your ascendant, your moon sign. If you're watching for somebody else, the same, plus their Mars sign, which kind of shows their attitude toward basically love and relationships. Now again, this is on a special for $50. You can contact me via cattarot.ca. It's going to keep appearing here on the right hand side. And lastly, every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, there's live. So if you are subscribed over here, you're going to be invited, and also you have to push the bell. You can even kind of like send yourself alert, and each basically live somebody's winning a 15-minute reading with me. So it's kind of like one area of life that I look for you. So there you go, guys. All out of the way. So let's start, Leo. Interestingly, this card was jumping out. 7 of Cups were jumping out, so it's going to be emotional thing. It was like 7 of Cups, and which one was it? Cups as well. I forgot now. And you have a King of Cups. You may have been this is, I guess, your ex, dealing with somebody who you we're expecting so much from. King of Cups is like basically the person we want to marry. We want to marry for emotional reasons. We want to be two of a kind. We want to be kind of like eye to eye, completely equal with this person. And this person is definitely sending off all these kind of like things. And I really think here this is really talking about the options and opportunities. So let's see, why is that? You have another 7 over here as well. So you're going through some kind of like spiritual shift over here. I would say that you are at this stage becoming rather cognizant that it wasn't you. It was a situation you dealt with this person. It looks like there was like something that has been taken away from you, and it could be even the money in addition to kind of like your peace of mind. And it looks like you have been dealing with a person, you are dealing with a person who is like very moody. You kind of like the moon reverse is actually not so bad, because it actually does talk about the sun is going to show and it's going to shine again, and things are going to kind of like be cleared. Maybe you feel betrayed, maybe you feel slighted, maybe you feel that it was just like a one-sided kind of a thing, and it was something that changed you. Before that, you have been kind of like different. It looks like you have been a person who could go and try many different things, and then you start focusing on this person, and you start feeling this person was like chipping away at you, because look at this, we have earth, we have air, and we have water. So it's kind of like the fire is still obviously remaining, or maybe the fire just vanished. I mean, that's the essence of who you are. So let's see what the Judgment is talking about. It could have been a third person in this particular you know, let's call it union with an attachment. It could be that the two of you really didn't define this relationship properly. Maybe one person wanted marriage and everything, another person just wanted to be friends or be romantic and just like be playful. It looks like the things got out of proportion, and I really don't like this card, really. But when it's reversed, then it's like really talking about aha moment. It's kind of like, aha, this didn't work for this, or that didn't work for that. But the Knight of Cups over here talks about that somebody might actually contact you and even tell you that they miss you, even tell you that they love you. Be very careful, because that's like something that you fell in love with, and they are not sustaining that attitude. It looks like that's kind of like the card they take out when they need to. there are like issues with forming any kind of like direction with this person. It's kind of like, you know, sometimes you stay friends with X after, you know, this whole hurdle is done and over with, but sometimes you can't. When this card shows up, that really tells me you kind of like can't stay around for sure. Now we have Page of Swords and we have the Star reversed. Page of Swords is sort of like a really young energy. Is just trying to kind of like understand still. Maybe maybe you're like looking in different opportunities. Maybe you're looking in different possibilities. This here as well can actually talk that you guys are opening up and you are back on the dating scene, and maybe there'll be another opportunity that is kind of like coming your way. So it's certainly kind of like aha moment means just like that you can start moving on and somebody can appear. But aha moment is like giving you the understanding like why you reacted to certain kind of like things and what basically, you know, couldn't basically happen with this person. The Star reversed is telling me that this person affected you to a point that you kind of like got lost, and maybe there is no communication with this person whatsoever. This doesn't mean that there is like no influence happening. There is like enormous influence happening over there. So this kind of like is a huge enormous energy over here that is still kind of like bubbling somewhere. I still feel it, that maybe you have it under control, but it is the energy that both makes you hopeful and angry at the same time. There is like still an issue of getting your questions answered over here that is kind of like preventing you of fully kind of like swimming in a new environment and fully moving forward, even to a point that you're kind of like taking steps back. And that could be really prudent, because it's really good to find out what has happened, why certain things are kind of like resulted in the way they resulted, right? You need to kind of like figure out, because obviously it looks like you really wanted to build something. You see he's holding an earth over here in his hand. It's kind of talking about somebody like, I mean, you kind of like wanted to build something together. And this is also the card of choices, something old and something new. And in this case, like, I mean, we're moving forward together in our world. It looks like it's going kind of like to something old, and it looks like there are like lots of answers that and questions that are looking for answers going on and swirling in your head. If you think that they took a better of you and that, you know, you have been used, you're correct. But I also have to tell you that this person also feels that you kind of like backstab them. And this also can relate to a marriage, guys, because it feels like some kind of like sacred vows have been broken. But the Hermit is in the middle. It's telling me there is not going to be much communication, much direct communication. It's obviously somebody who wants silence, and the silence is actually really beneficial at this particular case. And maybe you want answers for this person, but this person is not willing or not even capable to give you these answers. They kind of like looks like they have their own interest and they have their own agenda, and that's kind of like how they look at the situation over here. Wow, we have the Fool reversed, and we have the Eight of Swords. She is blindfolded. There is an issue of trust in this situation. There is lots of fear and there's lots of denial. I really think that there's lots of blame as well that is actually coming your way. It's kind of like, how could you do that to me? It's almost like it looks like you feel slighted. You feel that you need to kind of like find your own strength, right? Because the Strength card didn't show through, which is your card, but the Star did, which is just the higher energy of the Strength card, right? And it is here not only just committing to one person, but committing to a cause, committing to something that is going to resonate much more. You know, one person can do a small thing and you know, stand up in the bus and saying, no, I'm not going to sit in the back anymore, right? and you change everything with that one gesture, and you never know which one it's going to be. And you read it in the history, and it's not like that was like the only one or the first one. There were many others, and they just like didn't hatch. There is like a lots of air energy over here that I see on the side, so they're really thinking about you a lot. Even to be specific, I mean, Hermit can be Virgo, but it can be Aquarius as well, just like here. So I don't know if you're simply dealing with another Virgo or Aquarius or water sign, but I clearly see that they are thinking about you. They are blaming you. They're feeling they're in a bad situation because of you. They're feeling you pull a rug under their feet. And look at this, we have the moon, we have the high priestess. We just like have one more with the moon, the chariot, that didn't turn out. So it was an issue about some kind of like harmony or domestic harmony, and the priestess is like basically telling you, you need to kind of like get tarot reading, you need to go in therapy, you kind of like need to see actions, not to listen to anybody's lip service. And don't take anything for granted. Always question, always kind of like need to go in this direction. It is, if you're doing sacrifices, that you know the reason why you're doing it, and you can go and kind of like walk down that path. Make sure they are as well doing the same. At one point, look at this, the karma card here, I think you're going to start feeling exhausted. Look at this, like 10 and 10 and 10. There is like a switch, and then get another 7. That card came through. Yes, these two cards were coming through as I was shuffling. And I was like thinking to myself, one talks about huge possibilities, another one saying, yeah, you know, I'm happy where I am. Why don't things come to me? I really think this person is waiting for you to come to them, right? It kind of like really shows. They're kind of like building some kind of strategy, they're building some kind of foundation, but you are at this stage, like you're spending lots of time thinking. Look, you're moving from 9, you're moving to 10, and you're kind of like really understanding that life goes in cycles. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. You're going to have quite a few things happening to you this month that will kind of like go deep. You are going to start seeing different aspects in the other people, not only in this person, but in the other people, including yourself. You're going to start approaching things differently, and sort of like almost like that you kind of develop a defense or strategy, not only for this person, but also for possibility of meeting other people. I think this is that person here that is like still controlling, starting control from the distance. I really think that you could be spied on, and they're like resentful of the happiness that you perceivably you have. I have to tell you that I see two people, one almost like genuinely being having issues, almost genuinely kind of like dealing with problems that have been caused on the outside. I see like kind of like you kind of like want to stabilize. Well, the other person is just simply kind of like wishy-washy. I want you, I don't want you. Well, if I want you, you're going to be on my terms. It's going to be the way I say it. You did it to me. They kind of like don't even have the understanding to kind of like of communication, that things need to be communicated. Like it looks like there's like somebody who is extremely immature, and I really think that cost you. That cost you kind of like very much. There is kind of like slight indication as well that, you know, maybe certain things were kind of like caused because there have been interference in your relationship by somebody else, but to them that's not a big deal. To you it is a big deal, and that's kind of like where it is on status quo. So now this person almost like wants you to come back to them, but they don't want to make that first step. And if you do, they're going to make sure that you are miserable. So, you know, it's kind of like really weird that they're making this, it's about them. It's like them who are suffering. So you need to really think about it, Leo. It's like something that you can easily have, but at what cost? That's a kind of like something you need to ask yourself. Would this make you stronger or no? Because the card that represents you is the Strength. And if this doesn't make you feel stronger, then it's going to make you weaker. And that means losing yourself. That's a kind of like game that maybe it would not be smart to play. So my dear Leo, again, check your ascendant, check your moon sign, get your private reading via cattarot.ca, and I would love to get your opinions. Please share, like, and subscribe. Of course, this button over here, it's also invite for you every Saturday morning 11 a.m. to come to the live reading. Somebody will win. So it's always the opportunity, guys, over here. So this is very interesting, and I really kind of like will keep my fingers crossed for you guys that you are able to push this forward, because it's almost like, yeah, it's something is stuck. Did you ever try to unscrew something or unscrew a screw and just like you're pushing, it doesn't want to loosen up, and then you kind of like relax and then just like try it and it just like goes like through the batter. So you are going through that squeaky kind of like positioning over here. So be strong, guys, and luck is on your side. All the best. I love you.